and motherfucker slapping the shit out of him. Bitch, motherfucker go on stage from there on out with a razor knife or something.
Yo, and he slapped fire out that guy, bro.
Man, ain't no way he would have. I can't say that
And
ain't
see,
nobody gonna just slap me.
that's what everybody's saying more than anything, bro. Like, well, you like Chris Rock, you let him slap you though.
I would have let him slap me on national TV too.
Real shit.
I would
Like,
have sued the shit out that bitch.
that's what you
If
like.
he had slapped me in the streets, it would have been smoke in the city. But we on national TV and you Big Willie and you got all that bread and that's all y'all talk about. I'ma need some of that, bro. It's time
Fact,
to start thinking.
fact.
Cause what what would they have looked like if Chris Rock had fallen back off on his ass?
I, I mean, it would have fucked the black community up, but that might have had to been one that had to be fuck the community up for this guy, because like he
I
took
don't
it.
know if I really could let a bitch slap me though.
You know what I mean?
I
That's
don't
all
know.
I'm saying.
I'm saying I would have let him slap me and sue me, but I don't know if I could let a grown ass man slap me. I don't think I could let you slap me and just walk away like he did. Like he turned his back and just walked away. Like I would have stuck my foot so far up his ass or something. I'm just this how I feel. And you know I always talk about how sad it is in our communities. But on every platform that we on, you see nothing but violence and
I
ignorance.
don't know if I really could let a bitch slap me.
There was wrecking at the last battle raps. Couple years. Remember the big fight at the awards, the other awards. It's like every fucking thing, every platform that we on right now is going back to violence, and we're justified because of who somebody is. Will Smith, people saying Will Smith was right for what he did, but he could catch a charge for that shit. And how you gonna protect your family behind bars? What if he had smacked that man hard enough? Remember old boy out gardens? Um Punched the crackhead, crackhead fell and hit his head. He ain't even hit him with a serious ass punch. Dude was kind of fucking drunk or some shit, right? He
Mm,
popped him. He ain't catch him with a hard enough punch to kill him. When he fell, he hit his head and killed him. What
mm.
what what is that? What if Chris Rock had came out and stabbed the shit out of him or something? Or what if one of Chris Rock buddies
And he had some
chewed
peoples
his
with him.
ass up? That's what I'm saying. What if
They
it's
say
so
he
many
had
what
peoples with
ifs?
him, and he told them like, "Nah, don't even." Because the
Yeah,
nigga is
because it
from
was
Bed,
bad
he
for
is
him.
from Bed Stuy. But I mean, ultimately,
Did you
it,
see what he said? Did you
yeah,
hear him when he was talking and he like keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. Chris Rock like I will, or I could, and then he shut up. You see that part?
yeah.
He and then he looked out to the people behind the stage. He was ready to say, "Oh, I could do something." I don't know what the fuck he was finna say, but he
Man,
was
that was
ready to say
crazy.
something to that Bama.
That was crazy. Let me see. All right, what's good, people? What's good?
What's good, everybody?
We were just finishing the conversation we was having, but
Y'all know it was coming.
yeah, 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 absolutely, absolutely. Oh, kamikaze, what's cracking?
And that's the that, everything they blame everything on somebody mental health issues.
Yo,
But you can shoot
I
somebody first thing they crying about is mental health issues.
it,
You still gotta have some type of control of yourself.
I agree, 100% agree, 100% agree. You have to factor in some type of civility when it comes to certain shit. One
What's
hundred
up,
percent.
cousin?
What up, Reef? So, ladies and gentlemen, I see see everybody sitting down, pulling up their chair. And please feel free if you want to join the conversation. Always remember, all you got to do is hashtag Let Me Talk in the comments, and we will add you. All right. Tonight we having we finally having that conversation. We're gonna do the mental health conversation. We got one of our good friends coming through, Terry Hill. You know what I mean? Um, she is a licensed clinical social worker. She's also a grief support specialist as well as a addiction specialist. So, we're gonna chop it up with her, and we want to because it's a few things I just want to talk about. And one of those things is let's go ahead and figure out how we can wipe out the stigma of our people getting therapy and seeking therapy as it's needed. Like, because I think that's the most important part of the conversation we gotta have. You know what I mean? Like, actually, like, let's get people understanding that we don't have to, like, you don't have to shy away from it, and that you can find help and resources, and that you can more than likely afford it. You know what I mean? Like, and I think those are three of the biggest issues that we deal with. That's just me personally. You know what I mean? What's your
I, understanding that if there was no reason for therapy, it probably would have never been created. Somebody had a bright idea saying people gonna need help. Somebody went through something. Something happened for somebody to create therapy, and it's just normal as getting it as anything else. It's like you can't some people can't get by without it. It's just a norm. It's normal as anything else. I thought for me that it wasn't good for me, but I suffered. I think I extended my depression out because of it. I mean, I handled it and I got through it, but maybe if I had to talk to somebody, and I say maybe because I didn't talk to nobody, so I'm not. I, I talked to a lot of people that say therapy worked. One of my
right,
cousins really talked to me about it, and he was like, "Man, he just had a lot of crazy thoughts in his head, and talking to his therapist helped him, because he wanted me to go for when my dad passed, and I just laid back and I ain't go. So that's the biggest thing, not being ashamed of something that you need. And it's it's kind of foolish if you think about it to not go get it when you need it. It's like food. You can't
yeah,
live without eating. Your brain is your it's everything. Your brain is everything.
right, right.
You got to just man up to it, woman up to it, and say, I need help, and go get it. Keeps your sanity. Because you can pray for whatever you want, but prayer without action is just a bunch of words with amen at the end. Because the first thing you think God would tell you is seek therapy, even if the therapy coming through him, but you gotta go do it.
Right. I agree, yo. Like, I'm just like I said, it's at this point, like, we at a point now, like, we 2 years off of having to sit in the house almost for damn near 9 months, and people went through a lot. Man, people went through a lot of things, not being able to socialize, not, and it made people really sit back and look at themselves. And we saw a lot of depression pop up. You know what I mean? A lot of cases with that. We saw a few suicides. I mean, ultimately, nothing that people felt the need to really, really, really speak on. But we lost a lot of people too. We lost
Divorces.
a lot of people, like, and some, you know, I think some people really, really now really starting to realize that mental health is important. And I think this pandemic made people look at that. Like, I was working in the mental health field when it happened, And when I tell you the reason I stopped was because of the one thing we were trying to avoid from the beginning. And the people that were above us didn't want to listen or pay attention to it. And one of those things was we can't leave people in the house every day just taking medication until Lord knows when. We couldn't do that. But they felt otherwise and they did whatever they felt they wanted to do. But yeah, so we wait while we waiting for Terry to jump in, you know what I mean? I just feel like I just feel like we this is a conversation that we've been waiting to have and we've been wanting to have. But like I told you, for me and you, we could talk about this all day long. But
Hmm.
without somebody that's actually in the trenches and a part of it, you know what I mean, a professional, like we can only speak from our point of view. We can't speak from a professional point of view.
Right.
And luckily we got our home girl, Terry, you know what I mean? She's gonna show up and we're gonna have the conversation. We talked last week. Me and her had a nice long conversation last week, and we just spoke on some things and some of those topics that we're gonna speak on, and just her experience and letting us know you know, what options is available. Because I think one of those things is a lot of us don't think that the option is available.
It's true. A lot of people think um of finances, um financial, can't afford to get the therapy. Um it's the one thing is not knowing can hurt you too, because it's a lot of resources out here that you can find. And I mean, you just gotta make time to find and get the stuff done.
Right, right,
um I like, me personally, I started I started doing things like, I learned how to meditate. Not like, I don't meditate like they was doing. I took what they what I learned from them videos. I watched so many videos of people meditating. I learned to block things out totally. I could be at a party or in a crowd, and I could, at one point, I would get caught up in my feelings, and then I would
right,
block everything out and just be there, and I was like gone. Then for like 15 minutes, I lost like 15 minutes of time where I wasn't even thinking about nothing. And I started learning how to clear my brain from stuff. Then I started learning how to stop reacting to everything. One of my biggest problems was I had anger issues. And when you spend a lot of time by yourself and you realize that you you haven't gotten angry the whole time you was by yourself,
right,
a lot of your issues came from other people's behavior. And then it got to the point where, though, I started thinking to myself, well, I'd rather be by myself than be worried with everybody else. You know what I mean? Then I started finding out how to love myself more. Self love was my therapy to myself. And having a hobby, having
right,
something to turn to when I couldn't stop my brain from floating around, going
right,
all over the place. I would take my remote control cars. Everybody like, "Oh, you too old to be playing with cars? Am I too old to be punching windows out or going upstairs so stressed out that I'm throwing up and or crying to myself all the time?" I ain't that them cars playing with working on them cars took my mind away from stuff.
right,
Started playing with coloring books and stuff like that. Like I said, I wish I could show you how, when I was coloring and I first started coloring when I was stressing, I was all over the place with my colors. But then as I started coloring and wanted to color, I started staying in the line, shading a little darker with the blue, and then take that same crayon and make it look lighter. And then my pictures started looking better. I lost my coloring books, but you could tell the process of me healing. You could see it in
right,
my
right,
coloring.
right. A lot of y'all that might just be joining us. Larry, what up? Um,
What up, everybody?
if you can, if you want your comments to be seen, because right now what we're gonna see is this. It's gonna say Facebook user. Jump out of this live and click the blue link at the top of the live and allow StreamYard permission to use your name. But go ahead, Mikey. My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you fine. And
All right.
like I said, cause you gotta also find time. You gotta think some things like this. You go to therapy, you are not going to be able to run to your therapist every time something goes wrong. You have to have some release factors, and sometimes your release factors have to be away from everybody. And when it's your issue, you got to be able to say, at this moment in time, I am not a good parent because I'm so into my head that I'm not a good parent. So you got to make time to be able to get yourself back together and say, Look, I can't take care of my kids at this moment, not all day long. This moment, I'm going through something. I can't take care of nobody else. I can't take care of my husband. I can't take care of my mom. I can't take care of my sister or whoever. I got to take care of me because even though I never thought I was going to kill myself at all, I knew I was going to get right. I didn't care if I lived or died at that moment. You ask me that shit now, I'm like, hell yeah. I wouldn't say, nah, I want to die. I just
Right.
didn't care. I was
Right.
like, shit, if I die today or tomorrow, what difference does it make? I'm thinking ain't nobody gonna care. Whole time I got 4 kids. My mom's
Yeah.
still alive. I got you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I got friends and shit. So you gotta find something on your own. I had so many
Right.
people talk to me, actually make comments about me being 40 some years old, spending a lot of money on remote control cars. I did that because that's a pastime for me.
Right. Right. I
Um,
can get.
you know what I mean? I had to turn off the music. The music was putting false things in my head because people. It seemed like soon as I lost my girl, every song I heard had good relationships in them. I had to turn off the TV because every time I turn the TV on, I'm battling with the sex thing that I picked up thinking sex was gonna heal me. Every time I turn the TV on, they got sex on every TV show, that stuff been there. But now that it's affecting me more, I see it more.
Pay
So
attention to
sometimes you gotta turn that shit off.
where. All right. So before we continue, we got Terry with us now. We're gonna bring her in. All right. The instructions on how to go. What up, Terry?
Hey, what's good?
What up?
What's
What up?
up?
What up?
What's
Long time
good?
no see.
I know
You
I
know
miss
what
y'all
I mean?
fools.
I
All right.
know,
Before we
right?
before we get into the conversation again, I'm gonna let everybody know the way to have your name pop up in the comments is jump out of this live, whatever live that you in, jump out of that live and go to the top of it. At the top of it, on the bottom, you'll see a blue link. It'll say Facebook /StreamYard. Click on that link, and then you have to give StreamYard permission to use your name. It's security issues. So, and then now we'll be able to see your names.
Y'all fancy, huh?
Trying to be, I
Try and get it
mean,
right,
good.
Ted.
You know what
We
I
be
mean?
lost like shit some days.
Yeah. Trying to figure it out. But look, y'all, if y'all see me jumping in and out the conversation, because I'm gonna have to put the camera down to go and answer another email. But y'all can just keep the conversation going. You know what I mean? But for the most part, Terry,
Yeah.
welcome,
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this conversation.
Yes.
Like I said, we
Welcome,
all
man.
it's always a conversation because I feel like that's just an easier way for everybody to be able to express themselves. You know what I
Agreed.
mean? But
Mm-hmm.
I know she do
we've
look
been
good too,
waiting.
don't she?
We've been waiting for the time and being able to schedule this. You know what I mean? Because like I said, when we talked last week, I said, look, like, we can talk about it, but I want to have someone that's a professional, someone that we know that can break things down and explain even further. And the first thing, so introduce yourself to the people.
The people. I am Terry Hill. Me, Mike, and C go way back. So we're
Hmm.
friends before anything.
Yes.
And I appreciate these young gentlemen for allowing me on your platform today. So I am a licensed clinical social worker. I work for the city of Baltimore full time in their employee assistance program. So any employee who is struggling with any challenge, any type of challenge, honestly, can come to us. So we see workplace violence, we see substance abuse issues, grief, you name it. We kind of see it. And then part time, I have a private practice. It's called Healing the Soul. And those clients I work with long term. So EAP is short term. We do about 4 to 6 sessions. Really quick problem solving kind of work. But if they need something longer term, then we help get them connected to someone that they can see externally long term. But mental health is kind of near and dear to me. It's always something that I always wanted to do. And the path to me getting here has, had its curves and whatever. But the long and short of it is that part of the reason that I became a therapist was my dad. And me and Mikey, you and I have had the dad conversation.
Hmm.
Um, and so my dad was a Vietnam War vet. According to my mom, came back from Vietnam a very different person. He had an alcohol addiction, diabetes, high blood pressure. He smoked 3 to 4 packs of cigarettes every day. Just he had a lot going on. And so my dad had a stroke and died at 54. And looking back now, there are a lot of things that I know now that had I had a different kind of conversation or had I brought a different perspective to my family in trying to help my dad, um, I don't know that he would have succumbed at 54. Um, and so, when it came to alcohol back then, my dad was functioning. He did everything. He worked, whatever. And he was different if he didn't have a drink. So back then we were like, oh my gosh, can somebody just get him a drink so he can be okay?
Hmm.
Where today, like, nah, that's not the answer,
That's
right?
not
It's
right.
not the answer. And so anyway, I've done a lot of things in my life. This is the only work that I've done. I absolutely love it. It does not feel like work. I can sit down and have regular conversations. Thank you, Kim. Regular everyday conversations with people. I'm me before I'm anything else. So the Terry that y'all know is the Terry that shows up in therapy.
Right.
Um, and it's comfortable. It's comfortable. So that's me. That's what I do.
Real quick, did you have to do any schooling or anything?
So I did. I have a bachelor's degree in psych, and I have a master's degree in social work. And so after getting my master's degree, you have a graduate license. And so you have to have so many hours of face to face contact with clients, so many hours of supervision with a therapist that already has the license before you can sit for your clinical license. So I did all of that so I could sit for my clinical license, because my ultimate goal is to not let somebody else count my money.
I
So
can dig it. I
right.
can dig it.
So I got some money right now that nobody else is counting. But yeah, I don't want to have to punch a clock. And so that was the avenue I took to be able to work for myself.
Do you so all right, you say you have a private practice, right? That's your own, and then you work for a company.
Yep.
Um, this might be a question you might not want to answer. Well, which one you get more fulfillment out of?
Oh, that's
And
a
I
tough
think I'm asking
question.
it because some companies you have guidelines, and at home you can.
So I don't know that it's one or the other because I think that both of them give me what I need, right? So
Mhm.
on the short term side with employees, the downside is that a lot of our work is associated with policy.
Right, right.
Right. So if you violate this policy, you can come to us for counseling to help manage, but ultimately what happens is beyond our control. So sometimes we end up counseling someone through a termination,
Mm,
or through a suspension or
mm,
after somebody is laid off, those kinds of things. So
yeah,
there are a lot of clients that I have limited time with that I really, really, really would love to work with longer,
yeah.
but I can't.
Right,
So my
right.
private practice kind of gives me the fix of long term work. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? So those clients I can keep, until they are good. I tell them all the time it is my job to make it so that you don't need me anymore.
Mm.
Is it a
Uh,
conflict of interest to get people from there that left from your job to come to you?
so with EAP work, it is not good practice to do that,
Right.
only because you'll have people who say, "Oh, well, they were supposed to get 6 EAP sessions for free, but I'm gonna give them two, and then refer them to my private practice so I can build an insurance company and get paid."
Oh, that see, they always
Right now, on the
come.
good
I get it.
side, it's helpful. So it's the answer is not no, you can't do it, but you got to have a really, really good reason
Yeah,
to do that.
yeah.
And so I've had clients who absolutely refused therapy. They were sent to us as a supervisory referral, didn't want to come, didn't want to talk to me. By the time we finished the first hour and a half session, they like, "Oh my goodness, when do I get to come back?" Right.
Yeah.
And so those people that I break barriers with, and I get people who say to me in the first session sometimes, like, "I have no idea why I'm getting ready to say this, but I'm gonna tell you something I never told anybody else before."
Right. That's the breakthrough.
Right. And I'm honored. Like, I'm truly, truly honored
Hmm.
that you trust me enough with that stuff. And so in that case, if my client were to say, "Okay, well, we finished, I ain't doing nothing else," sometimes they have to sit that in that for a while. Sometimes people finish and then they call me 6 months later and say, "Hey, Terry, I want to get with your private practice."
Right.
But for the most part, the answer is no, unless it's really, really, really necessary.
What are some of the main issues that people give you, or reasons that people give you for not wanting to get therapy? What do you hear a
Ooh.
lot of? I mean, we need people to hear it because I was
Yes,
Oh,
told
yes,
yeah.
that. I
yes.
thought that I put up every resistance I could, and you saw me when I was going through my problems. I was
Hmm.
all over the place,
Hmm.
and and uh, yeah, just let us know some of the things you hear.
So I think that in almost everything I hear, there's an undertone of fear of
Mhm.
something, right? So some people feel like, a lot of us grew up during that time where if you go to therapy, you're crazy.
Right,
If,
right,
something's wrong with you, whatever. And we don't want that stigma. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that girl. I don't want somebody to think something's wrong with me.
Right,
Right. So it's the
right,
overall stigma to begin with. Right.
right.
But then there's reasons like I know a lot of people think that if you go to therapy and they find something wrong, they're going to make me take medication
hmm
or they're going to put me away in some kind of facility
Right.
and they're going to force me to do stuff that I don't want to do. And that is so far from the truth. It's so, I can go to a psychiatrist, they can give me a prescription for whatever they want to write on that piece of paper.
right. But you don't
But if
gotta
I don't
say
take it to the pharmacy and get it filled, it ain't
sample.
nothing that you can do.
Right, right.
Now, it might be helpful, it might be beneficial to me, but you can't do anything to me if I don't get it filled. If I say to you, I know I don't want to do medication or I don't want to do, whatever. So I think people are afraid that somebody's going to force them to do something that is uncomfortable, that's going, or they're going to put me in, the crazy house. They're going to send me to Shepherd Pratt. And you say Shepherd Pratt to people,
Yeah, he
it
lost it.
already has a certain connotation.
Yup, it's done.
Yeah,
Right? It's not, there's a
yeah.
lot of good stuff going on in Shepherd Pratt. They got drug treatment there. They got people who rent space there. They got all kinds of stuff. But you say Shepherd Pratt, and people are like, oh, yeah, no, 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 no. Well, part of that is historic because, when they didn't know what to do with us, they sent us to Crownsville.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They sent us to hospitals. They did experiments. And so some of that kind of trickled down generation to generation, just the fear, even just the fear of doctors. Think about COVID and
Hmm.
why I'm not getting a shot or why I am getting a shot or, um, I think that people, I think the most common one that I hear is how can somebody who doesn't know me tell me about me?
That was me.
Right?
That's me.
Number one.
I swear that's me. The first thing I say is, what made you get therapy? What made you become a therapist? You must have went through something to make you become a therapist. And I use that against you without giving
Right.
you a chance. Like real talk. I,
Yep.
I analyze myself. I
How?
analyze myself, and that's me.
Yeah, I have people who say that, like, oh no, I think through it and I come to the conclusion and, you know, whatever. See, I heard you say something earlier about cost. People
A
think you
lot of
got to be rich.
exact. Now, I think this is one of the biggest. I think this is one of the biggest stigmas is that you have to be of a certain income level in order to seek or receive therapy, proper
Mhm.
therapy.
I can't afford it. I'm not going to. Let me tell you, being a private practitioner, people sleep on medical assistance, right? People really sleep on medical assistance. They think that they get subpar care, that they got to go to the community clinic that's in their neighborhood. They Most people accept medical assistance.
Hmm.
Medical assistance is one of the higher reimbursement companies, right?
Right.
And you can search for a therapist just like you would anywhere else. So yeah, I take Blue Cross Blue Shield, but I take Medicaid too.
Right.
See,
And
see what I'm saying?
so you can get therapy on Medicaid. You don't have to take a referral that your doctor gives you that says, hey, go see this person. No, I will talk to y'all about how to find the right person, what to do, find a person that you want, not, I got 5 names and I like Shaquanda the best. So I'm gonna go see her, right?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and even with commercial insurance, insurance through your job, your copay for therapy is whatever your regular copay is usually for a doctor's appointment. So on my job, we have one company, the copay is $5. I think both companies that we have are $5. So if I'm going to an appointment, I'm paying $5 for a therapy session. Um, if you're not insured, there's pro bono counseling. Like a lot of therapists will register on a pro bono website and say, okay, well, I'm going to give back one free client every month.
Mm,
And you get a whole pot of those people.
mm.
If I can't afford it, I can go to a pro bono, company. There are other places. If you don't know if you're eligible for certain kinds of things, they'll help run your information, see if you're qualified for medical assistance or, whatever. Um, and the whole nine. So it's not. We always felt like, oh, therapy is for white rich people.
Yeah.
Um, but if you think
Right.
about it, in a lot of situations, the things that were really, really helpful to us are the
Hmm.
things that were withheld from us.
Mm.
So
Just said that.
if I want you to think that, like, I don't want you to better yourself or whatever, then yeah, let me make it look like it's hard for you to do.
Hey, excuse me one
Um,
second.
yeah,
Tarika, um, Tarika, in your comment, explain what that means, or even zero, or even $0, please. I'm trying to keep up reading while you reading, so I can get some of these questions from people. Um, everybody, if anybody want to come on here, um, y'all know our form. It's called Let Me Talk. You can come on here. You can speak your mind. You can ask Terry questions. If y'all have any questions y'all want to ask her, if you don't want to come on here, you can type them. If you don't even want your name seen, you can hit me a C and in my inbox. You can hit me in my inbox or hit C in his inbox, and I'll ask the questions because I know Terry and I've been around her a lot, and she is not gonna tell you nothing that's not gonna benefit you. And it's like I'm sitting here, I don't want to keep smiling because I see it because I ain't seen it in so long. But this is a serious
I
Right,
know.
conversation.
right, right. You know what I mean?
Just trying, I'm trying to keep it serious because we always stay on joke time and
Cut
everything.
up,
So, but this serious right here.
cut
So we're gonna
up.
cut up later.
Yes.
So if anybody,
So
like I said, if y'all want to come on, y'all come on.
Absolutely, man. Like this is what I'm saying. Like this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to open up this door.
yep.
This is a door that we know that we black people discuss this all the time. We know that this is not something that is easy for us. So what we're trying to do is open up this door in this conversation. So if it's questions, if it's things that you want to say, please feel free. If you want to join in the conversation, you can join in the conversation. But that's what it's for. Absolutely.
Yes.
Please,
Like, what's his?
please
How you
join in.
pronounce it? Is it Gerald? Gerald Mills? Is that how you pronounce it?
Jarrell.
Jarrell Mills. I'm not good with people names. I ain't gonna lie.
What is Jarrell? That's
Um.
my son, Mike.
That's
Oh,
already said.
okay.
That's a son.
Can he come? I mean, if he wanted to come on and talk, and then Heaven White said that Shepard Pratt helped her because people can use that stuff. It's how old is your son?
My son is now 23.
See, people his age think like you wouldn't think somebody his age would have went to therapy because kids these days you can't tell them nothing. I was the same way. You couldn't tell me no. You couldn't tell me I
Mhm.
needed therapy until until I got finished with that all that mess I went through. Then I said, "Damn, I probably should have went talk to
Yeah.
somebody."
And I think it's um people don't, for me and from my experience, because I've also been in therapy, but therapy is the only place that you can be emotionally naked, 100% honest, say whatever you think or whatever you feel, and not have to worry about the kickback for it.
Yep.
If I got issues with my mom, I can say that out loud. If I
Right,
have issues with my family, or if I think that, my husband is X, Y, and Z, or I really, on the low resent him for such and such, I can't necessarily say that to him without having gone through something to make it comfortable.
right,
Hmm.
right.
And so you can say whatever you want in therapy. So the thing that you never shared, you never, you know, told a soul, you never explained your true feelings about something, you can say that. I tell people all the time in my first session with them, please do not. I want you to be comfortable. I never want you to feel like you have to put a skirt on your conversation with me.
Hmm.
How people
It's,
apologize for cursing. Like, no, stop. Like, be you. Be the you that you are. But um, so yes, so my son started therapy at a young age when he was in elementary school. And there were some challenges that I knew he didn't always feel comfortable talking to me about, or even that he knew how to verbalize what he was feeling.
hmm
And so I wanted to give him that outlet. You know what I mean? He needed that. He deserved to have somewhere where he could go and say whatever he wanted to say.
Right.
Work on the things that were challenges for him. And I'm Glad to see that. It's done
That's
a lot for him.
awesome.
That is
Done a
super
lot.
That's
dope.
awesome. Real quick, see, you got something to say on here on that?
I'm listening, bro. Like
All
I
right,
said,
because
man. Like I told
somebody
Terry,
gave me a
I,
question.
when we talked last week, me and Terry talked for almost an hour last week. And
Right.
I told her, I said, yo, I'm probably gonna be quiet. You know what I mean? But like I'm watching this one and I'm watching the YouTube page too, because we streaming live on YouTube too. So I just
Okay,
want to make sure everything running like it's supposed to, because I'm seeing comments come up from YouTube too. So,
okay. Real quick,
but yeah,
um,
absolutely. Go ahead, yo.
my inbox. Okay. Can you ask her how someone can deal with being sexually abused and molested when they were younger?
So trauma is usually the basis of a lot of stuff. Uh, there usually is some sort of trauma underlying